Tonight on This Week in Politics, a sit-down interview with former Sioux Falls Mayor Mike Huether about his political future and what it may or may not include. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Allen. Thank you for being with us here tonight. A few days before Christmas, I received an email from Mike Huether wondering if I had time to talk with him about his political future. As we head toward the 2022 elections, a number of offices are open, including governor, U.S. representative, and U.S. senator. But when I sat down with Huether and the camera started rolling, I did not hear what I was expecting to hear, an announcement about running for one of those posts.
The time just isn't right for me right now. And it's really difficult for me to say that. And I feel like I'm letting people down, including probably myself in a way. But again, I'm just not ready to announce that I'm ready to tackle that mountain just yet. It is something that I want to tackle before God takes me. I want to serve again. I know that I can leave things better than I found them, whether they be in Sioux Falls or in South Dakota or wherever. It's just that right now the stars haven't aligned the way that I'd hoped that they ultimately would.
I asked Huether to what extent this was a family decision or a decision based on family considerations. Huether now has 2 grandkids and seems to be enjoying his political retirement. This is some of what he told me on that topic.
Not only when you run for office, but certainly when you earn the honor to serve, your family is impacted in a monumental way. And Brian, you saw it. I mean, you saw the impact that it had on Cindy and Kylie and my extended family, my friends. So you bet, it definitely does. And I can guarantee you that, whether it be Senator Thune, Senator Rounds, Mayor Tenhaken, whatever, that family always plays a large part in the decision. But I will tell you this: I am very, very blessed that I've got a bride of 36 years that will support me in this journey, whether it be let's go now or let's wait until later. But she also knows just how monumental of a climb this is, and how hard it is to slay this beast.
Huether told me he decided against a run for political office next year because, in his words, the stars were not aligned. And I pressed him on that. I wanted to know if there was one particular point that had risen to the top that led him to make this decision.
And I think that's a very fair question. The stars, and there's multiple stars that I felt had to align, okay? I'm not going to go through every single one of them because we'd need a lot longer than a half-hour newscast to outline them all. But I mean, just kind of give you a flavor. Some of the things going in that I felt really good about is that I certainly have a high name ID. When you serve as mayor for 8 years, when you're on TV or in the newspaper almost every day for 8 years, that certainly played a role. And then certainly some of the things that I've done even after I've served has kept me out there, that Huether or that Mayor Mike name out there. I've got a pretty strong favorability rating. I know that just through some things that we've done to try to test that. And you bet, I've got a really strong reputation of getting things done. So that's some of the things that really will help you. I've been through a campaign or two before, so I know the organization that it takes and the effort that it takes, and so that's all good. There's some things that, because I am an independent, okay, I knew dang well that I couldn't just rely on registered independents in order to win. I'd have to have Democrats vote for this Huether guy, and you bet I was going to have a strong contingent of Republicans to vote for the old Mayor Mike guy too. And so those are some of the things that I have been trying to do some due diligence on to figure out, will that work? And yeah, I think that there's a good possibility for that to happen. Money. Oh my. As sad of a factor as that is, it's a reality. And that money, not only your money, but also the money that others will have that would compete against you is certainly going to play a role.
When This Week in Politics continues on KSFY, Huether passed up an opportunity to run for another office 4 years ago, and he is taking a pass in 2022. At what point does his window of opportunity close?
Being an independent, you would have to almost create this wow factor in order to capture the attention of the South Dakota voters. And I think that ultimately could make that happen.
And welcome back to This Week in Politics here on KSFY. 4 years ago, Mike Huether took a pass on running for another political office. And last week, during a sit-down interview, Huether told me he is not prepared to seek office in 2022. Huether says he does want to serve again at some point. But I asked him, by not running this time around, does he see himself as viable the next time around? At what point does the window of political opportunity close?
One of the things I think about all the time are these windows of opportunity. The timing, the this and the that. And to be brutally honest, the timing probably wasn't any better than when I was nearing the end of my term as mayor. Again, high name ID, high favorability rating, reputation of getting things done. Oh my gosh, let's go to the next step. Let's rally the troops and go, go, go. But at that time, thanks to the help of a lot of family and friends and advisors, we decided to wait. So that decision in terms of when, and if you don't do it now, are you shutting the door for future opportunity? You think about that all the time. However, I'm still young. I'm healthy. I certainly have a crap load of energy still in me, as you can imagine. And I think the biggest driver for me is that I know I can make a positive difference. I know I can leave things better than I found them. I know I've got a public servant's heart versus a politician's heart. And that is ultimately, I think, what's going to drive me is that I've got a bunch of things on my magic list. I got 42 things on there that I want to do before God takes me. And one of them is certainly to serve again. And I'd love to serve as governor or as senator or as mayor again, but something where I can make a difference.
The next part of our conversation was interesting. While not ruling out a possible future run for U.S. House or U.S. Senate, he did touch on a subject he has touched on before. Huether believes he can best serve the public by being the decision maker and not part of a decision-making body.
The goal is to serve again, to make a difference in a substantial way for the people of Sioux Falls and South Dakota and ultimately, America. And I think that, again, I am an executive branch guy, though. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt in that. That's where my strengths lie, and it's where my background is at. And I think I've proven, whether I was in corporate America or as mayor, that that's probably where I can ultimately make the best difference. At the same time, I watch the news every single dang day too, and I see what's going on nationally, and I don't like it in terms of how we're so polarized and how we ultimately aren't working together, finding common ground, finding solutions to ultimately solve some of the issues that we have in our country. And so, yeah, that's one of the drivers too. So I'm not going to close the door on something. If the people of South Dakota, if they ultimately want me to serve and make a difference for them and their families, I'll do it.
Next on This Week in Politics, months ago I got a tip that Huether was considering another run for Sioux Falls mayor. I asked Huether about that. You'll hear his answer when we come back. And welcome back to This Week in Politics here on KSFY. Earlier this year, I received a tip that former Sioux Falls Mayor Mike Huether was considering another run for mayor in 2022. During my sit-down interview with Huether, I asked him point blank, was he considering another run for City Hall?
Yes. However, and this is going to be kind of a funky answer, I was at an SDSU football game and talking to a lot of great people. And again, Brian, Dakota News Now, viewers, you can't imagine how many great people come up to me on a daily basis and they want me to do something again. Well, I was at this SDSU game and I actually talked to this this friend about, potentially running for mayor again. And because I had a blast. It was so dang much fun and rewarding. However, this friend of mine kind of grabbed me by the shoulders and just kind of chewed my butt and said, Mike, no, you're not going to do that. You've already done that. We ultimately need you to do something bigger and more substantial that'll make an even grander difference. And I did take that to heart, and I can't get it out of my mind. However, I also don't want to minimize the role of the mayor. I mean, it's a very, very big deal. And I saw the difference that you could make with that great role. I think Mayor Tenhaken is seeing the difference that you can make with that great role. And so, if I had the honor to serve in that role again, I'd be blessed by it.
And our thanks tonight to former Sioux Falls Mayor Mike Huether. I'm Brian Allen. Thank you for being with us this evening. We do hope to see you again next Sunday night at 10:30. And as always, from all of us to all of you, good night now from Courthouse Square.